Today is Christmas when I'm filming this. You'll get this video tomorrow. I just want to go straight into talking about good places to meet for dates versus places that and situations that might not be so ideal. And I also am going to go into a fun little story about a weird situation. I think it was this week. I don't know. I've kind of like hit this weird, not like people being super weird on the fence, and then last minute canceling, and then just people being kind of I'm not sure what's going on. I've had also streaks of like meeting really cool people, or going on a few dates with somebody, and it's good. So it's just the ebb and flow of how things go when you're dating. I when I did get a last minute cancellation, I went and had it out and did something. It was fun. I went to one of my favorite bookstores and got like a breakfast burrito and walked around. I didn't stay there all that long, and then I went to the craft store and got some stuff I wanted to get, and I had a nice day. So I think that's something you can do for yourself if hopefully you don't feel like too bad if someone does something like the last minute cancel. It happens, and I've done it too. I only do it though if I'm sick, or if something massive comes up. That's the only time that I will cancel. And I did have to last minute cancel on someone because I was very ill, and they weren't too happy about it because they never contacted me again. And that's just how it goes sometimes. And I think he didn't believe me, and I understand that. That's fine. So with this particular situation, they seemed pretty cool. We talked on the phone. We didn't do a video call. We just talked on the phone. And I like to do video calls. I've done a few video calls. They're great. But this person and I talked for about 45 minutes. Seemed pretty good. We didn't align on every single thing and every single interest, but I felt like there was enough there that let's do something. And he felt the same way. He said, that's great. And so I said, I'll go ahead and text you my availability. I don't know right now because this weekend is the holidays and everything's kind of like, I hadn't solidified what I was doing. So that was just something that needed to be done. So once I kind of didn't know still what was going on, I texted him. I said, hey, I'm still kind of trying to figure out what's happening with this weekend. There's this huge storm that's here. Like yesterday was really massive, and so we're trying to figure out. I'm going out of town, not far, but we didn't want to drive in the rain, and we need to figure out a good day to go see my dad. So there was all that up in the air, and then I did figure out that I wasn't going to be able to get together the day that we had originally planned. And I wrote to him, and he just would not text back for a really long time. Not till he would text back at midnight, and I wouldn't see that because I'm not generally up that late. Now lately I've kind of been awake at that time because I've been tired after work, and then I would take a nap, and then I'd wake up and I'll kind of be up for a few hours. But in general, I'm not going to answer a text at that time. I do have a couple of friends that I'll talk to in the middle of the night if I happen to be awake and they're awake, because they're they have problems with sleeping and stuff. But somebody I don't know that well, I'm not gonna fucking answer your text at that late, okay? And I felt like they knew that on some level. It was like, I don't want to talk to you really, but I'm just gonna go ahead and answer, and I don't know that for sure, but that's kind of what it appeared like. In any case, I just was I said, my last text was basically, hey, I can't go on this day that we had originally looked at because that is going to have to be the day due to the storm and all the circumstances that I go to see my family. I said, however, I can do the following day for a coffee date or something. And their response was, the first thing they said was, I don't like coffee dates. And I was like, okay, don't, like, in myself, I was just like, oh, you're being so irritating. But then I was like, okay, you don't know why this person doesn't like coffee dates, so just why don't we find that out before getting so weird, you know? Like, I'm not even saying that I'm weird, but I'm like, before, you know, making it too much of a judgment, let's find that out. And then at some point, I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna get on the phone with this person. And I called and they answered right away, which was great because it was like, okay, now we can sort this out. And I said, okay, so I gave you my availability and you said you don't like coffee dates, and I'm really curious about that. And the answer was interesting. Let's put it that way. The answer was interesting. His answer was something around that he went out of his way to take someone to coffee and they didn't order coffee. And I said, okay, what would they order? And he's like, water or tea. I'm all, okay. So to me, coffee, it can be order whatever it's kind of like you're going to a coffee shop to like experience someone or hang out. And I said, oh, that's interesting. I said, when I think of a coffee date, I personally love to like grab some coffee or tea or whatever the person likes to drink, because not everyone likes to drink coffee. There's like, that's why a coffee shop a lot of times has an array of things you can order. And like, so I said, I like to get something and then just like walk around in the neighborhood or whatever, or the shops, and just kind of check things out and talk, you know, so that you can get to know someone. And he's like, oh, I you know, I said, and I like to meet somebody during the day for a first meeting. And he goes, oh, I'm the opposite. I'm like, okay. And he goes, I think dinner or drinks is better. And I don't drink, you know, and I can meet somebody at a bar for drinks. I just will get, you know, like a mocktail or something, or Shirley Temple is usually my go-to because it's so simple and delicious and sugary and bad for you. I love it. But, or, you know, like just I don't know. You can even sometimes get a coffee there. So, like, I'm not opposed to doing that. And I've met people, but this is the thing. I told him, I said, wow, okay, I'm beginning to think this might not be a match. Because he was just being so adamant about how my idea was wrong and his idea was right. And I'm not going to sit here and fight with you about that. I think that's really silly and petty. And he's like, yeah, maybe not. And I go, okay. I said, well, I really appreciate you getting on the phone with me and sorting this out. And I wish you the best of luck. And that was that. And I blocked that shit as fast as possible. Because I think that's really weird. Because here's the thing. And I want you to I want you all to listen to this. I was actually talking to another person online about dates, and they said, what was the weirdest thing that happened to you? And I met somebody at a coffee shop one time, and it was not the person that I met somebody who was not the person in the picture. And it was really weird, and I was super disoriented. But I was in my area where I knew the place. I knew the people that worked at the place. I knew that area inside and out. And so it was disorienting, but I knew, you know, please, meet people in public. Meet people when you meet somebody for the first time. I do think it's okay to go out at night if you're like, but go somewhere that you know really well. You know the neighborhood. Maybe you know the people that work there. My suggestion though is don't drink. Have your wits about you. Getting a coffee is better. You can, I know this might sound a little paranoid, but like, I know people who have the absolute worst has happened. Okay? So if you get a coffee, you have control over it. You know, you can even get it and say you want it in a to-go cup in case you decide to go. That way it's got a top on it. It's got all the stuff. No one can put shit into your coffee, okay? Nothing bad can happen there. I know this sounds like really over the top, but I want you to listen to me, please. Don't meet somewhere that you don't know. And my other suggestion is don't meet at night. And the other suggestion is to meet for something like coffee or something very simple that you can get out of. Because you don't know, even if you talk on the phone, you don't really know how somebody's going to be in person. Good places to meet. Coffee shops, bookstores, meet up at a museum could be a good date. I will say it's a little bit more involved, but I think that, you know, there's also free museums and things like that you could do. Meet up for a little walk around to look at architecture or something in a neighborhood that you know. Let's see, what else? I think stuff like interactive stuff like, I think I've talked about this before, like batting cages or possibly doing something like mini golf or bowling or something like that. These are all public meeting places, and they're all places that most people have where they live. Now, I'm in a huge city. I'm in the Los Angeles area. Now, not everyone's going to have, you know, that dilemma where they're like, you know, but I do. I have that. And I know a lot of places in LA. But I do like to be close to home because I don't know. I just need to be close to home. I tell somebody in my family, whether it's my mom or my sister or my friend, that I'm going to be at a date, and I give them the information of that person, and I give them a picture of that person too. Do I sound paranoid? Do I watch a lot of true crime? Yes, I do. And I will tell you, stuff happens to people. So, have I done a lot of dumb things? Yes, I have. Don't invite somebody to your house. Don't invite somebody to your house on a first date. Have I done that? Yes, I have. Is that a good idea? No, it's not. Has anything really bad ever happened to me? Thank God no, but yes and no. I did have a really scary situation happen one time when I invited somebody home. That I had actually met them a year before that and had a date and had them at my house and everything was fine. But the second time I had them over a year later, things got a little scary. And luckily, they respected my boundary when I told them to stop doing what they were doing. But it was one of those wake-up calls. So, don't get into a wake-up call situation if you can. Please, 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 please. I know that we all do these things that maybe are, you know. I also want, if somebody is being so freaking weird, like that situation I was telling you about meeting up, if someone is being in that being like that, girl, no. And when I say girl, that's everybody. Girl, no. I don't care if you're a guy, I don't care if you're non-binary, girl, no. Girl, no. We don't this is not a game. I mean, to a degree, there's playfulness, there's all these wonderful things. But if you're looking for a serious relationship and someone's being that bizarre, just freaking forget it. Next, okay? Next. Because it's just, it's not worth your peace. Your peace. It's not worth your peace. Okay? Like, it's too weird. If it's that hard and someone's being so adamant, obstinate, um, disagreeable for no reason, really. Like, to me, that was like, the reason behind what he was saying was so weird that I couldn't connect with it. I just couldn't connect with it, is all it is. Maybe it's not a weird reason to somebody else, but to me, I just felt like he was trying to get me to, I don't know what his thing was. Maybe he was just trying to get me to not want to go out with him. And good job. High five. You got me. You got me to not want to go out with you. Never want to go out with you. Never want to hear from you again. I'm so good, sir. Thank you. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. And if you have any other ideas, date ideas, weird experiences or things, tips and stuff like that on safety, keeping yourself safe. I worry so much about everybody out there who puts themselves in vulnerable positions because they feel uncomfortable to say the thing when they feel something's off. If you feel something's off, I've told you this before, trust your spidey sense. And if like, yeah, just please think about a good place to meet. Your first meeting, if someone asks you out, especially, you can meet halfway, but try to meet somewhere that you know, that, especially if you're, I don't know, the vulnerable one. Let me just put it that way. I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's good to meet somewhere that feels comfortable to you. And even if you're meeting halfway or if you're meeting on their side of town, meet during the day. Just meet during the day. That's the best thing. And don't be intoxicated. Because you really need your wits around you when you're getting to know someone new. Because you need to see all the little things. Because people just aren't, people are putting their best foot forward a lot of times. And then you might miss something if you're not fully, present. If you're high or drunk or whatever, you might miss it. Okay? So that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I hope you had a wonderful holiday season, whatever you did. This is my Christmas tree right here. Let me turn it on. Isn't that nice? I like this. This is a good Christmas tree. And then you can just turn it off. And it also flashes. I don't like that. Yeah, not my thing. Just a little night light thing. But yeah, that's not really a Christmas tree. That's a holiday. It's a holiday silver bonsai. So anyway, hope you enjoyed. Post below. Hit like, subscribe if you feel like this is helpful information and you like a ranty ass story. All right, bye.